Welcome to HGC Korea Crucibles day number 2. My name is G-Clef, and here we have Rapid. How are you doing, Rapid? Welcome to Heroes of the Storm.
I'm petrified, I'm scared, I'm mortified, but at the end of the day, my job here is to make Wolf look like the best caster in the world. I think I have my work cut out for myself. I have played a bunch of heroes. I've never cast heroes before, so...
I know it's your first time, so
yeah.
Guys, be easy on me, of course, too. But Rapid here...
I'm gonna make G-Clef look like a super great caster. So.
You're gonna make me look like a ball, because we're matching ties. Guys, matching tie casters, of course, your color is...
Well, I have like a matching tie and a matching collar, too.
Oh, so you're better than me.
My little fake pocket square thing over here, also matching, so...
Aha. Okay.
Got some caster synergy going on already.
Of course, and no makeups once more. And this is how we normally look, and we look a little bit better with some drinks and stuff. But this is how we...
That's the real bravery going on here. It's not just me casting a game I've never cast before, but also coming on stage without makeup or having to do my hair. I was having a good hair day today, so at least I've prepared coming into today's games, and hopefully our teams have too.
Yep, and it's going to be a lot better. And today we're going to have day 2 between Raven and ReZero, who actually won the Open Division playoff, and they chose to go against Raven tonight, and it's going to be day 2. We had a 4-0, almost close to stomp yesterday, and one of the Open Division team called Winners. They are moving on to HGC, and RRR just lost 0-4. That was a sad story right there. But today, I think we're going to see a lot more intense games coming on.
Yeah, I think Winners are really happy that Raven made the choice that they did for teams. Obviously, a 4-0 from an Open Division team is just pretty fantastic to watch. I think that's the first time that's ever happened.
I think so, too. We already had one team from Open Division going up. Maybe Korea will be the region with 2 teams replacing into HGC with their skills. Basically, just dominance yesterday, and I've heard some rumors that Raven is having a tough time finding time to really practice all together because of HGC season. They have to take some holiday, and we had the reason why we're having Crucible a week after every other region is because we had 10 days of long Korean Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
How was your Thanksgiving?
My Chuseok was excellent. I did very little last year. I think we went down to Everland. That was super sick. Really glad that we didn't do that this year because it was so packed. Oh my God. Looks like we are about ready to get into, I guess, something to do with our first
we
game.
do not have the maps for you guys with the UI, but I do have the information ready for you. ReZero banned Cursed Hollows, and Raven banned Braxis, so that already tells you something. Raven is a team with so much of experience. They're all experienced players. Together, they have so much experience, and Cursed Hollow is one of the oldest mat in the game. So, just by judging that, it's a good ban to have against the team that played Heroes for years and years.
Crucible is the very first map that I ever played in Heroes. So
how was your first experience?
Oh, it was terrible. I had no idea what to do. Everybody hated me, but they were only flaming me in Korean, so I couldn't tell the difference.
But they ping you, right? They use pings, like ping the tributes, like come.
It's so helpful. I don't know what to do, so they're just like, go here. No, really, go here. I'm like, okay, well, even I can understand what to do. So
yeah, the ping is a universal language, you know, and from the PTR, I think we're having also MIA.
Yeah, extra MIA
I am
pings.
so happy because I don't have to chat. Like, okay, my lane's gone. I don't know where he is, but I can just ping it.
If they added
now.
a brain MIA, I would just ping that all the time. That's kind of what happens.
And I think it helps the use. Of course, it's not. I believe it's not in the live patch yet.
Yeah,
but I hope it's going in very soon because I wanted that for such a long time. With that. And we're going back to the match, though. We have some old crazy players like Sans, who will be called Overlord tonight. He changed his ID.
Overlord?
Overlord.
He's going to float around and make songs. That's how he's communicating in chat. That's what happens when I turn on the team chat. I'm just like, let me hear what the rest of my team has to... it all sounds like that to me. Maybe I just only speak Overlord. I don't know, guys.
Well, are you a Zerg guy?
You know, I used to play Zerg, but I play Protoss mostly.
Okay, as long as you're not Terran, I'm okay.
Okay, that's straight. I haven't committed the cardinal sin just yet.
I'm a Zerg guy, too.
I'm just mad we don't get Braxis holdout, because then we can talk about StarCraft
there
even
is still
more.
Warhead Junction.
Oh, that's very true.
And you can talk about nuclear bomb all
Finally
day.
a game that I get to talk about.
Well, let's see. I think with the I'm not gonna reveal the first map yet. I know it as an info, but seems like ReZero may be going against Raven because Raven oftentimes focuses on to teamfight a lot more than macro. And seems like ReZero wants to focus on rotational work, some macro play, because Raven is weak against it.
When you say that an open league team wants to focus on rotations and macro play, I can hear the ghost of Rally Jaff out there face palming, because I know you guys talked a lot about how that's kind of the weakness of a lot of open league teams when they have to play against teams that have had that practice in HGC.
Well, we were always talking about the gap between the Open Division and HGC, especially in Korea. But after the match yesterday, I think it really went down, and we'll see some overview, of course. And as we explained from the very beginning, Rapid, you can read all Korean, right? Like,
I can read the Korean. I can't tell you what it says, so that's not actually very helpful.
Like, I don't need to explain to you guys what's happening right here. And oh, there we go.
All right.
You see Raven on the right. I think I have to do less. I don't have to do any more explanation on Raven because you guys all know HGC. But ReZero, Relic, the main assassin, Seron, the sub-tank, all-rounder, the flex, Overload, who was Sands before from Mighty from HGC in the first phase of this year. And main tank Milky Way. I think we have to focus on Milky Way a lot today, just like what we did for Gemi yesterday. His plays in the front line with such as Tyrael, some other heroes. It's incredible how he initiates the fight and makes the team fight happening for this team. And well known, of course, with he's also known as Blue Beetle, the guy in the back in the middle. It's really easy to tell from his hair. He's really a popular streamer in Korea too.
Yeah, big fan of the Korean froze. Like, those things are a rarity, but glad that we get a little bit of variety out there. And of course, here is Raven, a team you guys have watched in HGC Korea all season long. They have struggled. That's what I'm going to call it.
Yeah, they had lots of struggles, lots and lots of struggles. And they were not the last team. They actually finished 7th. And with the Darvish coming in, they had lots of experienced player for sure, but this team has not made too much progress within the entire year. So let's see. Will we magically appear on the screen again? And he's not Overlord, of course. We were just making fun. He was Overload. So there's a big difference in between.
Overload, yeah. I guess I can't do quite as much with that as Overlord. That would have been really helpful for me. But yeah, Overload, still a name change. I'm always kind of curious what goes into players' name changes. I know, was it Deong actually used to go by, was it like Z-Man or something like that?
Oh, Zhangman, yeah.
Oh, yeah, Zhangman,
yeah. He used to be called, and then he changed. I don't know exactly
know why.
But every time that happens, I tend to ask them, like, Joker used to be Joker used to be Joker
I remember
before,
that, yeah.
And then I forget why it happened, but it happened because Koreans spelling English things happen. And when you look at a t-shirt and there are lots of English and sometimes there are like spelling mistakes.
Oh, it's
in the
just
middle.
random English
then,
words, yeah.
And then you get super tilted by that, right?
I just look at it as a different form of poetry, G-Clef.
Okay. Different form of poetry. Okay. Is that a new thing?
It's modern poetry. It's
okay,
like if Picasso had decided to write words instead of just make impressionist paintings, that's what it would look like.
I follow Picasso because my drawings are about as good as Picasso.
Oh, my Heroes League play looks a lot like Picasso's drawings, so that's my inspiration.
But seems like we're ready to jump into interview with the captains. Let's jump right into it.
네, 안녕하세요. 리제로 팀 중장 렐렉입니다.
Hello, I'm Ralik.
네, 오늘
captain of
컨디션
ReZero.
매우 좋습니다.
I think we're all feeling good tonight. There was a 4-0 yesterday. How do you think today's match is going to go?
위너스가 아라라를 상대로 4대0을 했는데 저희도 4대0을 해야 3명이 살지 않을까 싶습니다.
I think we also have to have a 4-0 to have our open division strength shown in the Crucible,
네, 어느 정도는 뭐 리벤지 이유도 있고 뭐 제일 중요한 거는
What was the
역시
reason for
보고 싶어
choosing
하시니까
Raven instead of the other
레이븐에
team?
지목했습니다.
Not just as a revenge, we actually thought it was a better opponent to go against, so that's why we chose Raven. I'm sure you guys practiced a lot. What are some of the
거의
things
매일매일
that you have
스크림
practiced for
했고
tonight?
많은 팀들이 저희를 도와줬기 때문에 그게
There were lots of
가능했습니다.
open division teams who helped us out, helped us for tonight's match. So I think we're gonna do well.
네, 저희가 레이븐을 고르면서 저희를 응원해 주신 분들이 많이 걱정도 해주셨는데 걱정하지 않고 재밌게
But by
봐주셔서
picking Raven,
감사하겠습니다.
there were lots of community worrying for us for the match tonight. But we'll try to pay back with the result tonight.
입니다.
Hello, I'm captain of Raven, Darvish.
저는 처음 온 건데요. 네, 네.
Well, it's my first time here as Crucible because I'm new to the team, you know.
네.
As a Korean caster, did not know that before. Oh, you're down in the Crucible now.
네.
How are your teammates feeling at the moment?
원래 저희가 좀 즐기자 마인드인데
We always
오늘은 좀
try to have
긴장을
fun.
하는 것 같더라고요. 근데 그냥 좀 편하게 임하려고
We're down
생각하고
here
있어요.
and we're just gonna take this comfortably, you know. Just have fun.
네.
That's our motto. Predict your predictions for tonight's
한
match.
4대 2쯤으로 저희가
About
이기지
4
않을까
to 2,
생각하고
I
있어요.
think we'll win. And lots of Korean fans are expecting tonight to be a crazy match. One of the best Crucible matches for sure.
저희 많이 응원해 주세요.
Well, please
감사합니다.
cheer for us a lot and thank you.
사실 저희가 좀
Last shoutouts,
요즘
please.
공공의 적 같은 느낌이 좀 많은데
It feels like we're the common enemy from everyone.
승승전 꼭 이기고 싶고요.
But we do
처음
want
와서
to
그런지 좀
Win in
오랜만에
the Crucible
긴장돼서
to go back
긴장돼요.
into HGC. So do
그래도
expect us
더
to have
열심히
great
해서
plays and
이기도록
we will try
하겠습니다.
harder later on. And that's it from Darvish, both captains.
And I
How'd
hope
you
my
like
fans
that?
cheer for me to show good games. He forgot that part, but I think we all remember
You
that.
forgot to. You remember that?
I do. That's because I can understand Korean.
Of course. I know you've been living here for a while now, right?
Yeah,
I think?
just about a year and a half now.
Oh,
so.
that's nice. Because I only lived here for like 4 years now.
Oh,
coming
okay.
back from
Only
the
4
US.
years.
Only 4
All
years.
right.
So that's why I can only translate like only
Well,
that much.
when
I'm
I've lived
pretty
here
sure.
for 4 years, I'll be able to translate.
Yeah, I
this.
know. Like
That's
you'll
my
be-
goal.
You'll be here and everywhere just translating, taking over my translation job, you know? And you'll be my competitor.
Any day
by
now.
then.
Any day now.
No, not
It's okay.
even
I can
close.
translate the English. That'll be my job into English.
Well,
So
we
there's
heard
no
it from the
confusion.
captains, and I think they're about to get ready. And ReZero, of course, was very dominant over winners when they were playing over division playoff. So expect them to play a lot better. And just judging by those scores, and Raven, who is also like similar to RRR in that stance, I think we actually may have two teams replacing in HGC. You know.
Yeah, it does certainly seem like when you compare the two open league teams together, well, certainly ReZero seems a little bit stronger. So if you can 4-0 the 8th place team, well, against a team like Raven, that ReZero is like very comfortable, or at least seems very confident in that interview to go against, well, you know, how much stronger are they going to look?
Well, it seems like we are ready for the draft. We're ready to go into draft very soon, but not just yet. I'm watching the Korean cast on the monitor, and if they keep on talking, we do have to keep on talking at the same time because we always go with the
That's the
chaos
real meta
production.
here.
You know, that's the
Yeah.
rule, and we just have to follow. And you know what?
Every
you know the
once in a
drill.
while, you get a Korean cast with like super troll, and they do the body language like they're about to go into it, and they just keep talking.
And then that's exactly why in HGC, like usually me and Wolf, we always finish early and we just like stare at the camera for like next 20 seconds or whenever they want to go out. But seems like the Korean casters are ready to jump into draft number 1. So let's go right into it. The map will be Sky Temple.
And you knew that all along, but you didn't tell us, G-Clef.
Never mind.
That's not Sky Temple, by the way. Even I know that.
Never mind. Spoiler alert. First map is Sky Temple. Well,
You
I
gave
said it
away.
already. So
They tricked you into giving away the secret information, G-Clef.
well, sorry guys. And things happen, and we're not perfect. No one's perfect.
That's one of those platitudes. Like, it is what it is. It's like things happen. I'm like, why, yes, I understand
Like
that.
we bring up all the hype, like let's get into game number
Let's
1.
get into go.
And then there's a pause from the beginning. It's
Oh.
like, oh, okay. So we just had to we'll feel the audio for the next I don't know how many minutes, but
Well, we still don't know what the other maps are going to be.
yeah,
so
that's
it's-
true. And I know you're looking for that Warhead Junction. But what is your other favorite map other than the StarCraft maps?
Battlefield of Eternity. We got to see that yesterday. I always mistakenly call it Pillars of Eternity after another game that I play a ton. So I'll probably make that mistake if we do see it. But that was always one of my favorite maps. So looking forward to that. Also, maybe a little bit of Cursed Hollow.
My favorite now is Volskaya.
Really?
I love playing on Volskaya, though I do not get too many on Volskaya, but the conveyor belts and it's crazy. Like there's like a Medivh on the other side. The portal like goes around and I suddenly like die from it. But we're ready, guys. Finally, let's jump into game number 1 draft.
Any second now. All right, here we go.
Let's go.
You're going to hear the roar of the crowd downstairs. We do have an in-studio audience, so lots of people coming out here to support ReZero and Raven as they get into it.
Okay,
so,
Morales already banned. That was the single most troubling hero from RRR last night. But Brightwing is on top of the meta right now. We're still on to Ana Balance patch 25.2, I believe.
Yep.
And Brightwing, even with a slight nerf, still a lot of Korean players. I just talked to Hyde downstairs, and you think Brightwing is just first tier, S tier material right now. So first pick right there.
Yeah, somewhere the ghost of Gillyweed is super happy right now. Lots of Brightwing. We saw it yesterday. We're seeing it again today. Nice to see that as a top tier pick. And oh wow, actually kind of surprising to see these locked in so early.
Raven, I think they did their homework. ReZero loves to go hyper carry Vala.
Yeah.
So Raven just took that away from their hands. Seems like they are going for their own hyper carry now. And as a counter, ReZero picked Sonya and Cassia. Nice way to deal with all the auto attacks, bringing that burst. Vala sometimes has to just be out of the fight if the spear poison just lands on that Vala even once during team fight.
Yeah, kind of interesting to see yesterday's kind of strategy being so like support focused, just like grabbing as many as possible, as early as possible. We don't see quite the same thing here.
I think we are going to see similar things, but let's talk about the second bans, as this will hint us to how they want to finish the draft. Raven is thinking at the moment what kind of support or tanks will be troublesome against the Vala Trinity comp that we're about to have, because ReZero will be thinking about possible Uther ban or anything like that. There are lots of support. Karazim did get the nerf, was still played, and did show a pretty good game yesterday in just one of the games. Okay, banning Tyrael, just sniping against a pretty good tank onto the other side.
Yeah, you can tell that Raven has actually really done their homework here and knows exactly what to watch out for, the pitfalls. That's kind of the worry if you are an established HGC team, you're going up against an open team. It's like you do have to watch out for some of these teams or players that do have specific heroes or strategies that you have to watch out for.
Let's see, ReZero thinking about a Garrosh ban at the moment. And Garrosh, when it was played in the right hands, and Gemi was the MVP of yesterday, just keeping his own allies really safe into the fray, and also making those initiations with the taunt later on, just
Super
instantly
impressive.
leading Genji all the time. We'll see a Garrosh ban actually.
All right. I was actually really excited to see Garrosh so much yesterday. Won't see him tossing things around here in the first game, but highly likely that we'll see him a little bit later on.
Let's see what the second support is going to be from Raven. Of course, Ariel ban, so it can't be the one caster along with Uther, or sometimes they actually went for lots of Lucios to make sure they have the movement speed. Vala can have an easier time dodging all those skill shots from the other side.
And we saw Lucio and Morales be like super huge yesterday. So already with the Morales ban, and there you go.
Okay, this is a Johanna buff patch with super high maximum. And as I mentioned yesterday, I think we'll see a lot more Johanna in BlizzCon also. Johanna will be top tier material for tanks. Also does not need cleanse because she has her iron skin for herself. And Uther, of course, will provide all that armor for Vala, even Tassadar, all his teammates. So I think they're going into a pretty strong hyper carry comp here.
Yeah, Uther's just going to make Vala so difficult to take down. Super exciting to see this kind of all the eggs in the Vala basket forming before our eyes. But now, the final two picks coming in here for ReZero.
Oh, let's see. And with Cassia Sonya, they do have a pretty good sustained damage and also the slight burst damage, and they also have a global for Brightwing. So all they need to pick up is, let's see if they go for, of course, very likely double support. They will actually pick ETC against the Johanna from the other side, and also bringing the silence. Okay, we saw some crazy combos with Mosh Pit along with the Lurking Arm giving the silence, which ReZero exactly did against winners in the finals of Open Division playoff. That did work crazily, and that was one of the best team fights I've ever seen from Open Division team. It seems like they want to do it again
here. Add that qualifier in
yeah.
there. But yeah, no, I mean, it's a great combo, and especially if they can ever get, it's just like, okay, well, where's the hero that's a threat to Vala? It's like, well, you just go down the list, and they're all probably something you don't want to have to deal with on your hyper carry. So lots of threats.
Okay, double support is the way for both teams. And Dehaka just to counter the globals, just have the solo lane control with the wave clear, and it is a pink Dehaka. Okay, we do have all the teams locked in with double supports and carries. Which team, which do you like a little bit more here, Rapid?
I mean, I just think it's kind of risky to, you know, pick the Vala so early and give your opponents enough time to say, okay, well, what do we have that can take care of that? And it does certainly seem like there are quite a few threats. So, you know, I might just be feeling ReZero here a little bit.
Well, let's see as both teams are ready. The double support's locked in, and we're going to see some hyper carry. Let's jump into Sky Temple game number 1. Here we go, boys. ReZero on the left in the blue, and Raven on the right in red. And we are all ready to go. It's a little bit surprising that they would actually lock in ETC against the Johanna. We saw that kind of thing happening. It's not a hard counter, but a soft counter still. We saw like Tracer locked in against the Brightwing yesterday, which costed one of the teams super big. There's already a poison landing.
Yeah,
not poison, just a spear for now.
Feeling each other out. What do you think is going to look like the strategy here? You were actually talking about you know, the rotations, the macro play being maybe a little bit more significant for ReZero than a lot of other open teams.
But they are pretty good with macros. I actually watched every single match of the playoff, plus lots of open division matches that they played, and they were pretty good with macro how they divided all their resources in all maps. So they are actually. They saw the rotation coming down with the Haka instead of the top lane, and they're matching that. And they actually try to contest the mid lane a little bit when Johanna has a pretty good wave clear. So it seems like they want to make a rotation. Not being decisive at the moment.
Looks like ReZero are definitely being decisive, I guess, heading back up towards the top, not allowing it to just be such a free push in there. Well, Relic actually taking quite a bit of damage there on the front line and coming back to get healed up a little.
Seems like now they will match the teams a little bit. Right wing is just soaking up from the bottom, can always teleport back. It seems like the Haka will also do the same, actually having a double rotation with the mid lane and the bottom lane.
Keeping an eye on where players, or teams rather, will want to commit. Looks like already our first shrines activated.
Well, the temples, let's see, the Vala. Carry will be Castar. Does have shift available right before the silence, so well done by NMX there.
I was worried, man. That silence was about to come down, and that's the mistake I make every time. I'm just like, let me just wait as long as I can, and then, of course, I don't shift.
Of course, you have to use the shift right before, and then after, when it's on cooldown, though, you have to be extra careful, positioning yourself right. But they actually do want to contest this top one for now, because they're losing the middle one. Sonya is just a super good tempo by herself there.
Yeah, so the middle statue will go over to ReZero, but the top one being fought over, being won here by Raven, and ReZero content to back off.
They do have the sustain and the Vala damage for now, I think. It depends on how much blind can Relic do and how much burst damage they can bring with the power slide with the right focusing. But because they have Tastar, they have more sustain for now, and Uther.
Right.
The double support with the Vala is just too powerful with any kind of meta, so that's why Vala's staying in every single meta for the entire year.
Even with things like silences and the power slide and like all the threats in there, I was actually really impressed by Tassadar, who's consistently going forward, knowing his limits. But now actually Dahaka coming up and Overload going very low, getting taken down.
Okay, Stukov is the first one, and Darvish and both Brightwing did get the call to join into the fight because we are fighting on top, but a second too late and not much shield from Brightwing. That was a good, I guess that was a split second late timing. If they were going to die anyhow because Stukov's positioning was very off, maybe just keeping the bottom lane and not making the big rotation because they did lose some EXP at the bottom before Sonya joined in.
Yeah, talking about the support's like kind of awareness, NMX31, I was actually really impressed by his awareness of exactly how far forward he could go when he needs to shift out. But on the other side, watching Stukov on ReZero, you could really see just not quite the same level of awareness of where he needed to position in that last fight.
And ReZero really knowing the macro with Sonya, they know which pick to have their control over the game. They already started the bottom golem. They got that push a little bit along with Sonya. That's why Brightwing was able to come up earlier, but not in time. And they want to time it perfectly. See how they control over the macro. In Crucible phase number one, the Open Division teams, as Rally pointed out yesterday, they really struggled against all the macro. And they watched all the HGC matches, of course. They can't. It's really hard to scrim against them, so it's really hard to catch up with the experience they have. But seems like Raven, at the moment, they are actually struggling with the macro. Let's see how ReZero want to snowball their lead a little bit. They have the momentum here.
Yeah, already starting to capture that turret. The Raven does capture the statue first, but probably won't be allowed to keep control. Milky Way moving down to try to just be annoying, but I mean, Raven holds it for as long as they can.
Because Raven can't really go in right now. Tastar is about to join in to fight, and they're starting to just roll into the temple, but ReZero is not going to let that happen. Vala is starting to pressure them a little bit by inch, and Chum is healing himself in the front here.
Yeah, Sonya was way up there without a whole lot backing him up. Like the communication might
the
be
power
a little bit
slide is already out, and the perfect dragon focusing comes down, and ETC is deleted as Brightwing is still just pushing the lane along.
Yeah, Dahaka with a nice grab there. Getting the what is that, third kill of the game for Raven, and kind of securing themselves domination there over the mid lane.
Not just the Shaco, it seems like they actually decided not to bring Brightwing. ETC was controlling the tempo for a little bit extra time, and they do hit 10. There's a force wall, already dropping the shield, also Relic going so low, will get taken out. Overload. Well, Stukov is a great support, but does not provide any burst healing like Uther does. So even Cassia does have the heroic trait available, but not going to, like,
didn't use it there,
takes less damage, but you will die if you get taken that much damage. And against double 10, I think they have to be careful a little bit more.
Another great wall there by NMX31, really knowing the positioning and catching that kill for Raven. And so Raven, maybe they're not quite as good in the macro game, but it does seem when you group up, they still have a better idea about how to handle these fights.
Raven controls lots of CC. Of course, Chomu loves to have the Storm, and ReZero being super greedy. Let's see how they are calling Raven to make the decision right now. But let's see how they want to control this fight. This is saying we have Emerald Wind, come please, because we will take care of this zone in the boss. And Sonya goes in for a moment, but does not do too much damage.
Young going right back in there, and oh my god, it's dropping so
Here comes
low.
There's a mosh pit locking in, but Divine Shield comes, and Vala is doing free damage right now. Sonya doing what she can at the moment. Young goes so low. The boss is getting taken. It is captured by ReZero. Emerald Wind not even used because Brightwing went down so fast.
Oh my goodness, G-Club, what are we watching here? ReZero just stomping all over Raven. They win the fight, they get the boss, and now it's just like, well, I mean, what can't they do? That is a big win.
Well, Tastar was dancing the whole time. The mosh pit was crazy good from ETC, locking him up. Because Johanna came in from the other side, taking a lot of the damage from the beginning of the fight. I think that was a big mistake done by DeYoung there. And now with the boss pushing, another 2 tempos spawning here. And they will just roll this snowball like crazily big here.
I mean, you were asking me earlier about what I thought about the 2-team composition, and it's like, well, sometimes it's not always about how is your carry allowed to deal damage, or does your team comp work?
Yes.
If you have a player that is just outstanding, and I don't want to say it's an ETC carrying them all the way home just yet, but it certainly made a huge difference that fight.
Yep, and Uther did not take Cleanse. I think Cleanse was just enough, not the Divine Shield was needed for the mosh pit. If Uther took Cleanse for that team fight, maybe Vala could have just escaped from the mosh and did 3 damage. Divine Shield was not really blocking any damage, just for Vala to escape from the mosh pit. Now, let's see if it cost any more for not taking Cleanse here.
Controlling that middle shrine just for now, and trying to see what the next move for ReZero is. They are just taking camps around on the top side of the map. Bottom, though, will go to Raven.
Yeah, ReZero did take down all the forts. They did push a little bit more, but Raven's still holding that bottom tempo. I think the fort is pretty damaged on the mid lane of ReZero. So they will actually rotate up. This is a very good macro play with decisive movements coming out. And this is the level of open division you see from Korea. It's pretty high, as you can see.
I mean, everything looks high to me, G-Clef. Having cast my first 2 teams, and of course them being open teams and teams that have been down on the bottom of the standings for HGC. I see a lot of hallmarks of my own Hero League games, but it's still a learning experience. So yes. I'm just kind of taking notes here.
Every single newcomer has that kind of experience. It takes time to learn. It takes time to get some practice done. But
well, it doesn't get a lot more newcomer than me, so I'm still definitely taking notes. Every time I look at the statues, I'm just like, are those like shrines or like
shrines,
what do you call those? It's like, there's so many different things. I'm not used to having to pay attention to quite this many maps. Just think of it
this way. I did this in my first trial. This map is called Sky Temple, so temples. So that makes sense, right?
All right. I'm learning so much right now. This is Professor G-Clef in action. They call you P-Clef. Professor. Wow. Can't even speak. I'm just going to let you do more of that because I'm like, wow, what everything he says just sounds so smart.
Thanks.
You could actually just say things that were totally wrong. Be like, yeah, no, absolutely.
I can just say like Uther is hyper carrying this team fight because he does so much damage.
I really love
even
the
more
Uther
than
hyper
Vala.
carry. Yeah.
No, I'm wrong. And the chat points out right after. I know what happens. And Hamlin with the Q, even with the Q Vala, because they got their rotation fixed, so they actually caught up in the EXP. ReZero was trying to take control over right after when they hit 13. Raven caught up with all the EXP. They did not actually lose too much, caught up with the EXP here. That's why we're having, after that crazy team fight, we're having this even levels at the moment. Brightwing comes in to zone out. Starfish is buying time, but we should focus on to the right. Johanna goes down. Astar is locked up. Barely shifts away. Even has to be Divine shielded. That was not good. And Vala did little damage in that team fight. Has to run away now.
When you have to Divine Shield your support just to make sure he gets out in time, well, that's not quite the way the team comp is supposed to go. Even I know that. But in the end, NMX31 does survive and make it out safe and sound. But you can still see maybe ReZero starting to really put things together as they take yet another shrine. And I did it again. Temple in the middle of the map.
Okay, you're learning though.
I am. That's one step at a time.
One step at a time. And when you finally realize that it's Temple, we will move on to the next map.
And then it'll be like, everything will be different.
That's what always happens. Like you make friends and then you have to say goodbye. Kind of like that. But ReZero, I like their play. I like their play style being decisive. And this is a crazy stage for you. It's offline and invent, and they're right below us playing this game right now. And being offline in front of the live audience, this is their chance to go up to HGC. Of course, this is best of 7,
big
but
deal.
They're not really nervous for going into game number 1, which what we saw lots of times happening in the Crucible matches. But seems like they're really feeling well going into this. They're actually leading for the moment. But Raven, they always have a very good way to catch back. They have lots of counters against the ETC. The mosh pit has been good all the time. I think DeYoung holds the key to winning this game for Raven. He really needs to wait to counter ETC's mosh pit just like that. So ReZero, knowing that they have enough time, mosh pit will be back in 13 seconds.
Yeah, coming up just barely in time. Oh, nice wall there. And MX31 zoning out ReZero. So he tried to come down here. Will they find a pick just yet?
Has to shift the way Brightwing does come. Let's see where the poly goes to. There's a great mosh pit, but is pushed away by the Emerald Wind, but goes into the mosh pit again. What a play from Chom, I guess. There's a poly onto Dehaka. Has to use a Divine Shield, and oh, well, Bala's already gone, so this team fight just cannot happen. Seems like Sonya's just cleaning up duty here.
Yeah, going from bad to worse, and even Dehaka about to go down up top. Maybe? Yes. I was super excited for whether or not he was going to live there, and then everybody else watching is like, no, man, he's like super dead.
Okay.
Like, but what if something that I don't understand happens? And then that's 90% of the game for me. So,
Oh, that was
exciting.
That was some Clown Fiesta fight, I would say. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not gonna say that was exciting.
It was exciting for me.
It was exciting for Uther because he was partying and the wind pushed him. So he was like, I want to party more. Like, no Emerald Wind for me. Like, he walked back into the mosh pit. I don't know what's happening.
Just couldn't get enough, man.
I don't know what's happening.
That's my excuse every time I walk back into a mosh pit. I'm just like, no, I was partying. I need a little bit more. I'm not done yet. It's like as soon as I came to Korea, I'm used to American partying. You go out, you do a thing, you leave. No. You come to Korea, it's like there's a first place and a second place and a third place
and fourth place.
I'm like,
it never
okay.
ends. When the sun comes up, then okay, let's go back home, guys.
Yeah,
that's
Koreans definitely like to walk back into the mosh pits, so maybe they're a little bit having.
Well, let's see. They're
with
about to go with the keep, though they will be hitting 20, and they did with the tempo shooting at one of the structure. They got the 20. I think even without the boss, maybe they can push in if they go indecisive with the aggressive push. Seems like they don't want to, even with 4 giants on their back.
First keep is still a really big deal. You're going to take it down and then decisively rotate back to the mid lane. Keep the macro focus coming.
Yeah, they're still leading. No need to risk as they have 2 keeps down and they're about to take the 3rd one down with the last tempo shots. And all 3 keeps gone. This is going horribly for Raven. They cannot really catch up with any of the macro right now. It may be impossible. Even if you win the entire team fight, Raven will be busy just catching up the macro until they really get their chance to like focus in and push in all the way to the core.
Absolutely, kind of backs up against the wall. ReZero first 20 at 2-level advantage, just super huge. And of course, when all your keeps are down, what really is standing between the opponents and the core, but your literal body is already starting to kind of question. It certainly seems like ReZero has the game in the bag. Not yet.
Yeah, 2 full levels, and they're just waiting. They don't have to go in, of course. If they go in, if they're wiped out, Raven can just go in and take their keep out. So they're waiting for the next tempo phase because the tempos will do direct core shots when they also have right wing as their global. So they can make all the macro play. They just have to decide how they want to win this game right now. It seems very hard for Raven to come back in this game, but let's see how they want to react to what ReZero is going to do against them.
Yep, you can't just turtle your way back into the game. No, you do have to get out there on the map and keep contesting these objectives. It just doesn't seem like Raven has what it takes.
Dehaka can't even really go out from, I guess, their home near the core zone. Dehaka should be soaking in one of the lanes somewhere else, not in. So it seems like Dehaka will be going down after seeing all the heroes in the mid lane, though. But he is being indecisive because if he dies by soaking EXP from the other side, then the game's basically over. So he does have to be passive, but I think he's being way too passive at the moment.
Brightwing just waiting on that Merc camp in the back. That's your job in this game. You sit by the Merc camp and decide when to take it. Finally, he will, and then start heading down towards the bottom half of the map.
Let's see. ReZero still has the macro control, and top and the bottom tempo. This can't be worse for Raven. Let's see how they want to distribute their resources here, as Dehaka is already going top to take care of the camp, but the catapult seems like it's going directly to the core, top and bottom.
Oh my god, they gotta get back to base. I don't know. I mean, that's just my expert opinion
Oh,
there.
I like this
G-Clef.
choice from ReZero. They're going for the global and locking in the mosh pit. They're focusing onto
my
Dehaka. They will get this tempo for sure. So Raven is making their final decision, making the big rotation up top. But Uther alone may be caught. No, he's not spotted at the moment. But let's see Choms going in as quickly as possible. This tempo is doing direct damage to the core. This will be the game-ending moment very soon, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, they just got to go in.
Johanna just pushed back. There's a Gomu there. Vala has this Divine Shielded, but Strafe is just not doing enough damage. I think this will be just game over. The tempo got direct shot, and that's GG. Game number 1 going to ReZero.
Very solid win there. So congratulations to ReZero. And I don't want to say it too early, GG Clef, but this is kind of the way that day 1 of the Crucible started, and we might just have a repeat performance.
Well, let's say Raven did struggle against, let's be honest, they struggled against the macro and the micro. So basically everything from game 1.
They were winning fights early on. They won like maybe 1.5. And then, yeah, it was all ReZero from there on out.
I actually thought they had a better team comp going into game 1. Hypercarry, Vala, those worked pretty well. And in terms of macro, how ReZero actually controlled the map was amazing compared to Raven. We actually may have another, not a stomp close to yesterday, but maybe a 4-1 incoming. I was expecting Raven to be much stronger coming out tonight.
No, they did seem a little bit confused when it came to focusing on the macro play there at the end, my expert opinion. But you did ask which team I was, whose team comp I was enjoying ahead of time, so I'm glad I picked the right one. It's 50-50 shots, so I've got, half a chance to make it. Oh boy. Well, that's game number 1. It's a little bit too early to call the 4-0. I don't think anybody going into this Crucible would have been able to predict such a dominant day 1. Day 2, after a game like that, looks really, really good for ReZero.
Well, it was Sky Temple, and Raven oftentimes struggle against all the macro as you saw and everyone saw in game 1. And we do have a Raven actually picking map again.
Are you going to reveal the map?
I'm not going to reveal the map, but usually when you lose, you tend to go with the first pick because you get to choose 3 and you get to build your team comp before the second ban phase comes. But they are still continuing the Raven things in Crucible. They're picking map over first pick once more. I'm just going to reveal it. They pick Infernal Shrines for game number 2, which basically means they want to fight. The globals, of course, will matter, but they want to have everyone in the fight, in the shrine. And they want to fight, and ReZero will be glad because Sonya will be working so hard alone on that shrine, controlling the global. I think they can basically just pick up a similar draft and keep the same strategy here.
I mean, Raven's saying, look, maybe we can't handle the macro game. Let's just fight kind of a lot. So maybe that's what works for them. It's going to have to work for them to at least just put a win on the board. Because as you start losing games earlier, you start remembering the previous day of the Crucible, and it's like the pressure is on.
Yes, and Rapid.
What's up?
This one's Shrine. So
okay, all right,
do not
I got
say
it.
temple
It was
anymore.
temples, now
temples.
it's shrines.
Now it's called Infernal Shrines, so shrines make sense.
I'm just going to call everything
and
shrines.
Punishers, okay?
Okay, all right.
The
I'm just going to call them
casters,
like big dudes that do stuff, so.
that jump on stuff and stuns and just shoot out some things, frost or
Some
fire.
of them shoot out some things.
Or lasers or whatever that is, the Punisher things. But I still don't know what the exact the term for the laser that goes around in the ground is yet. Like
Really?
The purple lasers, I guess. I have to look up on Google a lot, but seems like we're ready. Ready? Not yet. Soon.
3, 2.
Oh,
Close.
it is ready.
There we
And
go.
he's
All
wrapping
right.
up right.